Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where we are starting to make the Halloween soaps. I am so far behind on things this year because of the whole move and not having anywhere to make things, but I finally got my Halloween soaps done, and the first one we're going to do today is poison apple. Let's go and see how I make it. Alright, we're going to be doing a bit of experimenting with the camera, trying to work out a good angle to actually work at. I haven't brought down my little square trolley that I used to work on, and I used to put the camera behind it, and I don't have room behind here to put it. So we're working from an angle, and hopefully you get to see everything. Now I am very aware I am right-handed, so I'll have to try not to block the camera. I am actually pretty ambidextrous with a lot of things that I do, so we should be able to combat that quite easily. Let's see how we go. And I've had to put the camera over there because if I put you on this steel table, if I put you over here so that you actually see from my left, it's going to shake and wobble a whole lot. So this is going to be a work in progress. Just bear with me as we work out what to do with the camera. But anyhow, let's get on to making our little poisoned apple soap. So I've got my oils down to room temperature, just popping my lye in carefully so we don't get any splashback. I'm going to mix it up and then we're going to split it out for the colours. Just very lightly mix that because I'm using some neons and I'm using really red in this today, and they do tend to move a little bit quicker for me. I have tested my fragrance before, but honestly I've forgotten what it does, and usually I write my test notes down in my soap maker program, and I did this massive clear out and I didn't think I'd use this fragrance again, so I deleted it. And guess what I'm using again? The fragrance we're going to be using is called Spiced Apple, and it's got those really beautiful apple notes, and then it's got notes of things like cinnamon and all those sort of spicy scents. Now in here I have got some Harlequin green mica. We're just going to pour a bit off in there, and we've got some activated charcoal in that one. Let's go about there. And then into my big pot, I'm going to put my really red, so we get a nice red base. So let's pop a good spoonful. Let's go for 2 spoonfuls because I really want this to be red, just to try and help with that sort of brightness. I know this looks really orange, but it is often sold as a bit of a red enhancer. So I'm going to put some Alizarian neon in there just to really make it pop. Let's get it mixed in. Hopefully this works. It has been a while since I made soap. It's been at least 3 or 4 months. And usually the first few that I do after having a big spout of no soap making, things don't go as smoothly as what I would usually like them to. Let's get it all mixed in. Pour a fragrance in here. From memory, I think it went okay. I say as I pour that in and thinking, oh, I hope it went okay. I think it does discolor just a little bit, but that's okay. We've got such bright, strong colors in here. It's really not going to make too much of a difference in that end soap. I'd like to say it smells really good, but they're actually not notes that I like. I tend to only use cinnamon-based fragrances for Halloween and Christmas because the smell of cinnamon in fragrance just makes me feel so ill. I like the smell of cinnamon when it comes to things like cinnamon donuts, and you know, a little bit in some foods. I don't like it in really strong. I like a chai latte, but it can't be too heavy on the cinnamon. But cinnamon fragrance oils, oh, they are the worst. We all have those that we don't like, and cinnamon is definitely one of them. But it is a nice strong fragrance, and from what I do remember of it, it did hold well in the soap, so that is always a bonus. One of the things I could actually do is go back through my past videos and see when I actually made the video using this fragrance oil. I know that I last purchased it in 2022, so I know that the video would be quite old, but you know what? I couldn't be bothered. I like living life on the edge. Anyway, that is all mixed in. Let's grab a mold. I need a clip. Let's clip that up until we've got this poured in. And I'm gonna just, I think I'm just gonna go for, let's just go for one of my classics, because I haven't done one for so long, and that is trying to get my curly whirlies in here. So we've got that in. And no, we're not gonna go for curly whirlies at all. Oh my goodness. All right, so spoke too soon. This is not a well-behaving fragrance. Good stir, that's got it moving again. So we're gonna do a half plip plop today and hope for the best. We won't play too much more. All right, it's just that neon that really set up. Neons always play up for me. All right, we've got that black in. Loving the colors though. It's looking really good. All right, we'll save a bit of that back. Please be fluid. It is. It's just that neon that it didn't like. Let's see if we can get it to swirl a bit. Oh! I completely missed. I told you. After I don't make soap for a while, I make big messes. I miss the mold. You kind of lose that when you do a lot of soap making, like you make a lot one after the other sort of thing. You get a feeling for how your soap should feel, how long you should actually stick blend it for, and that sort of thing. And although soap making is a bit like riding a bike, as they would say, you do tend to miss that sort of feel of when you've actually stick blended enough. So my first few, until I'm used to it again, are always messy. Not disasters. As long as it turns into soap, it's never a disaster really. Oh, but we make this. I'm gonna get these pots scraped out. Just going to give it a bit of a swirl, no rhyme or reason, just trying to get some colour movement through the top there. It really has thickened up. I didn't think this fragrance oil had behaved badly, but who knows? And especially at the moment with the olive oil, I'm a bit dubious about the quality of some of it that we are now actually buying. So that could actually have a big impact. A lot of the oil at the moment is just blended, and if it's been blended with that awful pomace oil, I don't stand a chance of soaping with it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of biodegradable sparkle to the top of this. This is actually a dark purple. It was one from off Pimp My Soap, which was called Twilight, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a few months now since I've done anything to do with that. but I am going to just sprinkle that across the top just to give it a little bit of a shine. I never actually kept myself any of the black mica, which was a shame, but there we go, or black glitter I should say. So we've popped that on, and now we're going to put our embeds on, which are our little poisoned apples. Now I didn't do a video on these because I was really struggling with how to actually make these up. I wanted that sort of real classic almost Disney look to them, and I just couldn't work out how to get that really nice sort of drip of the apple using just the soap dough, you know, making the apple and putting it on. What I actually ended up doing in the end is I rolled myself the red balls to make the base of the apple, and then I made up a batch of green soap dough because I needed some, and then I just dribbled it over the top and allowed it to run down the side. And then once it was set, I popped in the little apple stalks, but it took me so long to work it out. I have been so out of practice with the whole soap making thing that these sort of things just are taking a while to come back to me. And all I'm going to do is pop them on here. I'm actually going to get my trusty little ruler, just because it has been so long, and I'm just going to put a couple of little marks on the top so that I make sure that my apples are between the cut lines. Also helps me line up the cutter when it comes time to cutting these. So now we've got those on, I'm just making sure that they're kind of going in the middle, pushing them down far enough that they are going to stick into the soap, but still getting that nice little dribble effect that I've got going on them. Well, there is a positive. Even though it's been a while since I have made any soap, I still managed to get the right number of embeds. Let me bring you down for a closer look. Alright, so there it is. I'm loving how deep that red has come out, and I really hope it pops a little bit more as it saponifies. Where I'm actually going to be sitting these overnight is a little bit warmer than it was in my old shop, so that should actually force it to naturally gel, which is what makes those colours pop. I don't force gel any of my soaps because I've always had that area where I can put them where it happens naturally. But there it is, really liking how this has come together. So pleased I worked out how to do those apples. We're going to leave this one sit overnight, and we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll cut it open and we'll see what we've got. Alright, so we are ready to cut into the poison apple soap. I love how deep red this has come up. Let's get this into Ida, and hopefully this angle we've got for cutting will work. Let's get this lined up. Now the good thing is, because I do have those lines on my soap from doing all my placements, I can actually easily line up my cutter with those lines. That is looking good. And then hopefully we don't cut through any of those apples. Oh, thunk she goes. Oh, that end piece is looking pretty good, but you'll have to wait to see the whole bar, so let's pop that there. And then this is the inside. I love how that has come up. It really does look like a bit of poison swirling through the apple there. That is that size, so not quite as swirly, but I can tell you the next piece is, which is not bad considering we almost had a plip-plop with how quick this one was setting up on me. I don't know whether to say it smells good or not. It actually smells super strong, but as I said, these aren't the sort of fragrances I like with all these sort of spicy notes in them, but it is smelling super strong, and you do get that sweet sort of apple smell out of it as well. That one doesn't have as much of a swirl, but is still pretty. Oh, I like this one. I really like how that one's come together. So really pleased with how this one has turned out. Now normally when I make my Halloween soaps, they always turn out looking super cute rather than actually scary, but I'm pretty happy with this one. It's not the scariest soap that is out there. I've seen some pretty awesome soaps over the years, but it certainly doesn't have that super cute vibe that I usually seem to get on all my Halloween stuff. So really happy. That was one of my missions this year when creating them. I'm really surprised at how fine these swirls are as we're getting further down, considering how thick that did get there. But there it is. That is my poison apple soap. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me as I made it. Hopefully we'll get used to a few more of the sort of angles that I am now filming at. Let me know what you think about it and whether you prefer a different angle, and I'll see if I can work on it. But there it is. Thank you so much for joining me, and until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you then. Bye.